Yes, my question now is sustainability. Yes, we are hailing the management, we are hailing the board. How can we sustain this trend to still remain profitable in the business? Chairman, where I frowned most is on page 70. Obsolete stock written off. Why do we allow it to get obsolete before we write it off? Please, if it's possible, if we are able to make sure that we don't write off anything because it's eating our bottom line. On this note, I sincerely thank you and I wish you well in the business. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished directors of this great company, fellow distinguished shareholder, good morning. My name is Okezie Boniface. Mr. Chairman, Chairman is a chairman, and you have been doing very well since you took over from your husband, who also did well. The product we have been seeing over today is something to raise this company. More products have been developed. Cipro 500 milligram for antibiotic, which people call Ciprotab, very excellent. If you have any germ disease infection, go and take me and Baker Cipro 500 milligram. One in the morning, one in the night. It's very excellent, and I'm proud of it today. People talking about money, 14 billion earning. We can't say we are short of money. Membek is not lacking money. Like the last speaker said, we're not lacking money. We are applying back in business. The bottled water, I have it here. And Chairman Eko, put your outlook. Very excellent water. If you drink it, it flows. Correct. I thought you need to consume more. It flows. And it's coming back stronger. Chairman, I want you to tell us here before we close today, when are we launching it? Because that's where the money went back. We took over the MEME we sold, and that portion of that assets have taken over for the water. Because before, we were told last year, we're using contractors to mold this water for us. They are not even certifying the hearing of the customers. You know, before, the packaging, we said it. I one who bought that idea. When you soak it in the water, ice, the paper will just, until we go back to get the nylon. There's once you fold, when you hold the bottle, it's folded, but this one is stronger and hold its stance. This is water that will hit the street and will begin to make more money because water is selling fast today. Food and water goes together, and water is life. If you have the stores you trust, which coming from me and Baker, world approved organization, and using water to make drugs, then why should our water not be in the market? Every nook and cranny of Nigeria. So I believe strongly, Mr. Chairman, we have not misplaced our priority. When the water comes, it also contributes to the bottom line. Even if we are paying 30 kobo today, by this year we are paying 50 kobo. I'm prophesying for that. It's going to be possible and it's doable. They say what a man can do, woman can do better. So, Mr. Chairman, I trust your leadership and the MD and the management. So this water will contribute immensely for the bottom line we're going to share from next year. Yes, in terms of retrenching or whatever, when business are not, because it is not easy to do business, we'll come here to criticize it. The cost of business is high. Today, if you spend about 600 something million last year, with fuel increase at 500 naira per liter, and 700 something per liter of diesel, if you can get it, Madam, Mr. Chairman, we're going to even spend 1 billion. If we spend 600 something million, last year. We're going to spend 1 billion this year. That's the truth. So this is the beginning of the sorrow. God will help us. It is not easy to do a business in Nigeria. Over-taxation, which the president alluded, that is going to work on it. Over-taxation. Look at the place you are at the head office. They stretch one road that's not even 5 kilometers. They left the others. And they're collecting tax from you. Who would do that portion of that road? And we're paying tax. Look at the tax we paid here. So are you going to cut money from the company or the company to do that road? And they will come disturbing you. Ikeja will come, local government will come, state will come, federal will come. No. There's a lot of problem in Nigeria. Business is not rosy here. And that's why people are living in droves to go and establish in Ghana. Instead of being to be here. And I want to commend the general who has been putting his money internally, not going abroad to establish, So when we were looking for money, he bailed us out and we have paid him and he was happy for it. So you don't need to bail us out, we have money. The management is working hard. And I believe what will apply back, we're going to get it back by when we are running this water and other products we are selling. I think what you need to do now is more advertisement on this drug so that people become aware of it, And if you're sick, don't also hoping the drug to be displayed at the hall here. Go and get prescription to the doctor and go and buy at the chemist. That's the way to contribute to grow the company. And when you go there, go and ask me a Baker product. Since you're a shareholder, ask for your product. Another Panadol here is when I go to chemist, I ask them, do you have me a Baker? They say don't have it. I say, I won't buy. That's the people pay me dividend. I won't go and buy a company that's not listed. I'm not there, and I patronize them. It is wrong. And we'll come here asking for dividend. Mr. Chairman, this dividend you are declaring, who have the money, it must pay today, not tomorrow. It is must pay today, not tomorrow. So who are proving it now? Our registrar Veritas is capable to alerting everybody here. So why are we deferring to tomorrow? Let us have it today and buy this we want to eat against weekend by tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have done very well.
Thank you very much. My name is Moses Ayodele Ogundeji, a member of Independent Shareholders Association of Nigeria. The fact is that when you have a child and is doing, you continue to comment so that he can continue to do well. So I want to join others to congratulate you for what you have, for what we are considering. Though it is historical, but what we are saying here is just for the future. We can't change people as we are speaking, but most of the advice and most of the comments are for future. And you have done well. For any company to be able to stage annual general meeting, to come and face that company must have done very well. And you have done very well. This figure we have there speak for it. So once again, congratulations. And again, part of the factors are you have good staff. We express our gratitude to them because most staff kill companies. But when you have loyal, honest, and hardworking workforce, then you'll be able to, achieve your objective. And that is what we have done. So we express our gratitude through you to the workforce. Having said that, I want to, what we have, that is, I see that the profit we have this year, or the figure we have, has an irregular figure. That is, we have sales of one of our assets. Because when you deduct that from the profit we made this year, when we compare it with that of last year, we'll see that we struggled, to have that improvement. But my question is, where there is no irregular income. What we do to make sure that all our normal businesses, we make money from there. So the profit here, just minus the sales, what we gain from the sales, disposal of, our assets. Then when we look at, as a matter of emphasis for 106, page 106, that is a 5-year history. I look at it, I'm happy because the performance is on ascending, note, and is very regular, and that is very good. It gives people to be able to say, okay, let me project. When you compare, on year-on-year basis, I can project and say, okay, by next year, this is what I expect, probably the company to do, which is very good. And again, I want us to look at our funding model, because when you look at this account, last year we paid 220-something million for interest. The year we are considering, we pay about 455. It's like we are working for the bank. The interest keep on increasing, though we know we have a lot of loans. But from what my earlier speakers have said, let us look at our model, funding model, and probably to be able to have the benefit. We can't just be working for the bank. And again, I may want to advise that we look at checking or verifying, the charges, bank, because there are some illegal charges that we are hitting, but not until you look at it, because some of the debit we have here, or some of your expenses as bank charges, probably at the end of the day, a percentage of it may be a profit. So look at that area. And once again, I want to say a big thank you, and you deserve to be applauded because you have done very well. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
You've agreed on progress. Please
Good
introduce
morning,
yourself
Madam
to be brief.
Chairperson.
Thank you.
Madam Chairperson, good afternoon. Good morning. I'm standing, is it afternoon now? Okay. I'm standing on existing protocol. My name is Barrister Detutu Shinyombola. I'm the president of Highly Favored Shareholders. I have some observations, questions, comments, and suggestions on our annual report. With your kind permission, let me quickly run through them. It's inside my phone. On page 7, results at a glance. I'm sorry I came in a bit late.
Yes.
I came in a bit late. Let me
just suggest whatever questions you have or suggestion, be very brief.
Okay,
because before you came, a lot of people have
all
spoken
right.
on
Thank
some
you.
of the issues.
Thank you so
and we don't
much.
want repetition because of
Thank
time.
you so much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much. Thank you so much. On that page, I just want to give you my conclusion. I observe a remarkable growth in our turnover and profit in the year under review. I just want to give kudos to the board and management for a job well done. On page 13, attendance at board meetings and board committee meetings is good, but can be better. On page 18, item 8, directors and directors' interest. I observe that 6 directors out of 9 listed have our shares attached to their names directly and indirectly in the year under review. This is commendable. Please keep it up. On page 19, item 10, substantial interest in shares. I observe that we have 2 major shareholders with the minority shareholders. I can see now that the minority shareholders is represented in our board, so I want to skip that. On page 20, item 14, donations and CSR initiatives. I observed that our CSR in the year under review centered on health, education, social welfare, and community development. Next time, we should extend it to youth development, youth empowerment. On page 22, item 21, audit committee. It was reported in the annual report that the members of the statutory audit committees were appointed in the last AGM. This report is not correct because they were elected. We should report accurately going forward. From page 25 to 27, the beautiful faces and profile of the board of directors. Observe that we have 4 ladies in the board of 9 directors, which amounts to 44%. This is commendable. Please keep it up. On page 49, consolidated and separate statements of financial positions. I want to limit myself to group position. Trade and other receivables under current assets reduced from 1.2 billion naira to 1.01 billion naira in the year under review. This is commendable. What are the modalities in place to collect these debts from our customers to the BRS minimum so that it will not amount to bad debt that will be written off? Trade and other payables under current liabilities went up from 1.7 billion naira to 2.2 billion naira in the year under review. How do we intend to pay this debt to our creditors? Lastly, I observe that we have used this annual report judiciously to advertise all our products. This is highly commendable. Please keep it up. Thank you, and God bless you richly for this opportunity. Madam President, Madam Chairperson, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I think most of the questions have been asked. I think most of the questions can be asked, has been asked. So can we proceed to, I'll ask the Managing Director, Mr. Patrick Aja, to respond to your questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Madam Chairman. I want to appreciate our distinguished shareholders for your interest in the company, which was demonstrated by the kind of questions that we got. It shows that people read this. So I like to say that if we were to give an exam, many of you will score above 80%. Clap for yourselves. All right. I also want to say that these questions that you asked, they also help us. When we go back, we'll look into it to make sure that we come back with something better. The first question was mostly on commendations. Our Baba there gave us a long history, and I like to assure him that Lily Water is back. So the second person, Mr. Bayomi Adebayo, Passion shareholders, was wondering why we pay 30 kobo as dividend, and some other people have mentioned that. Let me just take time here to explain. Of course, we appreciate that when the revenue is growing and the profit is growing, there's a need to pay more dividends. But you also understand for a company that is also growing, you need money, you need investments. You also know that the inflation rate is growing. So what it means is the cash that we needed to deliver what you see today, you probably need more than 20% of that to deliver the business next year for this particular year. We expect to grow our business this year more than 30% what you're seeing here. So that also will impact on the cash flow and the capital. So yes, the reason why we're not paying all the money is so that we'll be able to fund the business for this year. And somebody was talking about dividend policy. Yes, it's not stated here, but the board actually has dividend policy. And one of the very focus of our dividend policy is first, the health of the company. Two, explain to shareholders if there is going to be a change in the dividend expectation and plan. Three, if the company is doing well, do not pay less than what you paid last year. So, and a whole lot of other things, and we considered all of that. So even in considering that we're making investments, we still did not want to pay less than what we paid last while also investing in the company. And as I go along, I will tell you some of the investment that we're making, which is the reason why some of those retained earnings is going to be used instead of just paying them out. Okay, somebody talked about the number of employees. We did not sack people. Instead, I like to say that we were one of the companies that even with the COVID Naira redesign, we were one of the companies that were recruiting instead of sacking. What you're seeing is at the time we took count, the number of people we had, you know, the JACPA issue that we're seeing now, many young people are leaving. We're constantly recruiting. So as at the time that this report was given, we have many people who are recruiting. So we actually have more people than the number we had last year. But as at the time we took count, that's what we had. Okay, thank you. Then on construction of the vaccine facility, I'd like to apologize. Last year, we promised that we were working with government on groundbreaking. But in fairness, you know how it is when you're dealing with government. It's not very easy. It's been very tough. But let me point out, the reason why we cannot do this alone is government is the buyer of vaccine. So if you're working with the person who is going to buy 95% of what you're producing, not to waste your money, you have to listen to them. So we're working with government, and the government bureaucracy did not allow. But I like to tell you we're making progress. We're making progress. By the grace of God, that groundbreaking is going to happen. We're making progress. Let me not give you any particular time, but we're making progress. You know, there's a new administration. The progress you made with the last administration, you have to let them settle down before you start telling them this is how far we have gone. But I like to tell you we're making progress. It's going to be a reality. Okay. So he also talked about the water facility, and I told you, as I speak, and the Chief Boniface mentioned it, instead of using other people to produce water, we are building our own water facility. So some of that retained earning that you're talking about has gone into building our own Lily water facility. So the former noodles factory, we have remodeled it to be our new water facility. And we're not just building the water facility, we're doing end to end. We're blowing our bottles. The paracetamol syrup, the bottles are being made by us now. We're doing everything end to end. You know, so it's a lot of money. I will assure you that by July, the Lily water you're going to be drinking will be coming from our factory. Okay, that's good. All right, so we have also introduced, we have a department for natural products. You would have heard about Niclovix, and new products are coming in that department. So in this brochure, you're going to see some of our new products. And if you check Instagram, you're going to see most of those products on Instagram. So we're constantly introducing new products, and they are useful. Like somebody said, natural products are good because the side effect profile is very, very low. So you're going to see some of the ones here, Digivine, and the one somebody mentioned about, which if you have pains is fantastic and it's natural product. So we have many of them. And please, if you go to our website, please, everybody that is here, in this annual report, you will see our website. please find time to go to our website. All these things are there. Our products are there. The contacts you need, the social media handles, even this AGM is going to be uploaded on our website. So please check our website and you can always get all the information that you need. Mr. Ladipo also talked about taking a lead on BVN. I think I've talked about that. Boslam Rob, I've talked about that. So please, you'll get more details from our website. Bank charges and commission. You know that also we borrow money to be able to fund what we're doing, but we're making sure that we do not borrow in a risky environment. We know commercial lending is very high. If you borrow commercially, it's difficult to run business, but fortunately we're borrowing from Bank of Industry and it's helpful. So the change you're seeing is initially because of COVID, the government gave 5%, but it has been increased to 9%. So that's why the rate is higher. But it's much better than going to pay 20-something% from commercial lenders. So we're very, very careful, and the auditors, the board, they are constantly monitoring this. So we're on top of it. Cash in hand, I like to tell you that we are managing our cash flow a lot better. So when you seriously look into that, you will find that our receivables have dropped. As at last year, our receivable position was 1.6 billion. The kind of business we're in the pharmaceutical industry, almost every company sells on credit. So if you don't sell on credit, you will not be able to sell. All we try to make sure is that they are paying as we are selling, they are paying. So if your revenue is going up, yeah, your receivable is going to go up, but we have been collecting very well. So our collections has been much better than last year, and we are on top of it. We're watching very well. Somebody mentioned something that is very, very important, solar panels. I like to tell you that much of the cost that you're seeing as operation cost is from power. We know what the cost of diesel is. The cost of power increased 300%. And because of that, we're speaking to companies now and trying to use solar to reduce our cost of power by about 30%. So we're working on that now. We're seriously working on that. Okay. Mr. Abdullahi had a lot of commendations, especially to our general for his support. I like to say General has been very supportive to our company. And please, let me take this time without fear of contradiction in presence of our shareholders to say that the chairman of our company is the best chairman in Nigeria, if not in the whole world. I'm telling you, I know they are watching me. I challenge all other companies to tell me there is no chairman that is as good as our chairman. Please, can we clap for our chairman? Yes, the chairman supports us very well. This is the chairman, the only chairman that I have seen that helps me to collect my money. When government owes me money and doesn't want to pay, my chairman will tell them to pay me and they will pay. You know, yes. So I appreciate you for the recognition of the corporate governance. And the High Chief also talked about Lily Water, like I've said. From July, we'll have our water, good supply, good quality, you know, and it's going to be available because it's coming from our factory. Okay, I've talked about trade receivables. Somebody talked about bonus. We have taken notes. We've taken notes, and I'm sure the board, I will report this again to the board. The board is also going to do something. I've also talked about dividends. Mr. Eke Chibuzo, independent shareholders. I've addressed the issue of dividend policy. I've talked about inflation, exchange rate, and all of that. All of this impacts on cost of sales. So really, when you talk about cost of sales, the product we have like paracetamol, I know somebody talked about the northern parts, places where we do not have presence, we are making ourselves present in those places. So when you see the revenue growing, it is because we're trying to reach places we are not reaching, and we're also advertising. We're also advertising, and all of these are expensive, and that's why the cost of sales are going up. You also know that our salespeople now, with the price of fuel, the cost is even going to go higher, FX and all of that, but we are managing it. We're making sure that it doesn't affect our bottom line. Okay, donations, I've taken notes. Please let me also say that we have a few people that are on scholarship. So it's not everything that we'll list here. We have a few young people that are on scholarship funded by the company. We're doing a lot with motherless babies homes and a whole lot of other places. We're working with Lagos State government on environment. You know our background. A part of our background is adopted by me and Baker. So we'll pay the staff that clean the streets and a whole lot of other things that we're doing as our CSR. The school for the blind and all those places are places where we'll channel our money. And somebody mentioned something that is very, very important: sustainability. As a company, it's a regulatory requirement. We'll do sustainability report. One has been done this year and is very, very good. So we're watching. We know that this company is more than 78 years. And under my chairman and under our team, this company will continue to do better. It will not go down. Our children will also inherit this same company. Okay, so I've already talked about Lily Water. By July, water will be commercially available coming from us. So trying to cover those questions. Somebody talked about the sale of assets. So if you really check it, you will see that the tax that was paid last year is much more. There are back taxes. That's why the profit was not much. It is because of that high tax that was paid. So that's why it's looking like, so fortunately, because of the sale of assets, we're able to mitigate that. But this year, we're not selling any asset, but I like to tell you, we're doing well. We're doing well. We're going to do better than last year. I'm sure about that. Okay, so our funding model, I've already talked about that. We do not borrow money in risky environments, and our interest rates, we try not to go beyond the bond levels. So we normally recruit people who check our bank debits. So we don't just take what the banks, we review it every year, and we'll have people check if we're debited wrongly, we'll rectify with the banks and they pay us back any wrong edicts. Okay, from Barrister Adetutu, commendations as well. And we've taken note of that correction of elected instead of appointed. And I like to tell you, we collect our debts. We collect our debts from our customers, we collect our debts, and we also make provisions, you know, for like staff. When we give staff products to sell, we'll get guarantees and all of this. So we are constantly watching our debts, and the board every quarter is looking into it. I believe I've covered most of the questions. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all of you.
Thank you very much, MD, Mr. Aja, for answering questions to the satisfaction of our shareholders. Having concluded this segment, we will now proceed other items on the agenda for the meeting. The second item on the agenda is the disclosure of the remuneration of managers. According to Section 238 of CAMA 2020, the remuneration of managers of the company must be disclosed at this meeting. Accordingly, the remuneration of the managers of the company is disclosed on page 94 of the annual report. This is for the information shareholders. The third item on the agenda is the recommendation of a dividend of 30 kobo per share, subject to deduction of withholding tax. I hereby propose that a dividend of 30 kobo per share amounting to 570,465 naira 80 kobo, subject to deduction of withholding tax in respect of the year ended 31st December 2020, be and is hereby declared. Will someone please second the motion? Second. Microphone, please. Please take the microphone and second.
Thank you, madam. I, Sahecho Nwabweze, support this motion. Yes, she has moved.
Thank you very much.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Nwabweze. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their right hands? Will those against the motion please indicate likewise by raising their hands? I declare the motion carried unanimously.
So now that we have adopted that, just inform them that Veritas with this now will start making the transfer for the dividends.
Yes, I've been asked to tell you that with this confirmation, Veritas will start paying you right away. So not tomorrow, as was said, but right away. I'm sure by the time you get home, you have your money alert. Thank you. Thank you very much. The fourth item on the agenda, re-elect directors. Since the last annual general meeting, Dr. Mrs. Rahila Ilegbodu was appointed a director of the company. The appointment must be approved at this annual general meeting, section 4 of CAMA 2020. In addition, the directors retiring by rotation are Mrs. G.I. Odumodu and S.M. Onyishi are being eligible. They have offered themselves for re-election. I hereby propose that Mrs. Rahila Ilegbodu, the newly appointed director, be and is hereby elected a director of the company. Please, can you stand to be recognized? Will a member please second the motion? We have to balance. Balance.
Thank you, madam. My name's Honorable Balogun Oluwatoyin. I second the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Balogun Oluwatoyin. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their right hands? Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise? Thank you very much. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. I hereby propose that Mrs. Gloria I. Odumodu is hereby re-elected a director of the company. Will a member please second the motion?
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Lawal Oluwa Akim. I do second the motion. Lawal Oluwa Akim. I do second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Lawal Oluwakin. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their hands? Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their hands? I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. I hereby propose that Mr. S.M. Onyishi be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company.
I, Olufemi Oduyemi, second that motion. Olufemi Oduyemi, second that.
Thank you, Mr. Olufemi Oduyemi. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their hands, right hands? Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise? I declare the motion carried unanimously. The fifth item on the agenda is to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. The external auditors, Messrs. PKF Professional Services, having satisfied the 10 years tenure in line with Principle 20.2 of the Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance 2018, would resign after the annual general meeting. I hereby propose that the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint another firm of auditors to fill the casual vacancy and to fix the remuneration. Will a member please second the motion? We have to balance. Give the lady, please.
Adekunle Fumilayo, second the motion.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Adekunle Fumilayo. JP, will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their right hands? Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their right hands? I declare the motion carried unanimously. The sixth item on the agenda is to appoint members of the audit committee. The current members are late Sergio Adewumi, Mrs. Christy Vincent Walaka, Mr. Obi Adeleke representing the shareholders, Mrs. G.I. Odumodu and Chief S.M. Onyishi representing the board of directors. The board has appointed the following directors to serve on the audit committee for the 2023 financial year. Chief S.M. Onyishi, Mr. K.O. Durojaye, nominations are only 3 shareholders, representatives required by CAMA 2020 on the committee have been received for the following members: Mrs. Christy Vincent Uwalaka, Mr. Oladimeji Bolaji Adeleke, Mr. Kalejaye Kolawole. Consequently, there is no need to vote on shareholders' representative on the committee. I hereby propose that Chief SM Onyishi, Mr. K.O. Durojaye, representing the directors, board of directors, and Mrs. Christy Vincent Walaka, Mr. Obi Adeleke, Mr. Kalejaye Kolawole, representing the shareholders, are hereby elected and constituted as the 2023 Audit Committee of the company. Will a member please second the motion?
The name is First I support the motion.
We don't need any seconder.
So the name is First I second the motion.
Thank you very much. The motion has been seconded. I hereby confirm that the members of the Audit Committee of the company until the next annual general meeting are Mrs. Christy Vincent Walaka, Mr. Obi Adeleke, Mr. Kalejaye Kolawole, representing shareholders, and Chief SM Onyishi and Mr. K.O. Durojaye, representing the board of directors. The seventh item on the agenda is to approve the remuneration of the directors. It is a requirement of section 293, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, that the remuneration of the directors other than salaries be determined by the company in general meeting. I hereby propose that the remuneration of the directors of the company for the year ended 31st December 2020 in the sum of 1,250,000 for each non-executive director, save the chairman, whose fee shall be fixed at a sum of 1.5 million, be approved. Will a member please second the motion? Observation, okay. Your observation, please.
Mr. Chairman, since you are involved in this exercise,
I should not.
Yeah, you can't preside over it. The MD should have to done it.
Thank you so much for the observation. Please, I will take the that seventh item again. The seventh item on the agenda is to approve the remuneration of directors. It is a requirement of section 293, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, that the remuneration of the directors other than salaries be determined by the company in general meeting. I hereby propose that the remuneration of directors of the company for the year ended 31st December 2022 in the sum of 1,250,000 for each non-executive director, save the chairman, whose fee shall be fixed at the sum of 1.5 million, be approved. Please, will a member second the motion? Okay, I need to go to the middle there, the person in blue. Yes.
My name is Mr. Elechukwu Onyejekwe. I second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Alex Onyejekwe.
Not
Elechukwu.
Elechukwu Onyejekwe.
Okay, Elechukwu Onyejekwe. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their hands? Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their right hands? It's been approved unanimously. So I'll return the microphone to the chairman to continue the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The eighth item on the agenda is the amendment of the company's memorandum and articles of association to reflect the share capital following the cancellation of the unissued shares to comply with the requirements of Section 124 of CAMA and the company's regulations 2021. I hereby propose that the company's memorandum and articles of association be amended by deleting item 6A to P and replacing them with the following. The share capital of the company is 862,617,443 divided into 1,725,234,886 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each. Will a member please second the motion? Can we go to the lady at the end there, please? We have to balance out. In the board, we are balanced. I will tell your wives not to give you food today. Anyway,
thank you, Chairperson. My name is Mrs. Peace Nwosu. I hereby second the motion.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Peace Nwosu. With those in favor of the resolution, please indicate by raising their hands. Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their hands? I declare the motion carried unanimously. Chiefs, Board of Directors and Management, shareholders, distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, as there is no other business to be considered at this meeting, I wish to thank you all for attending and taking an interest in your company's affair. The 72nd annual general meeting is now declared closed. For those who have traveled here for the meeting, I wish you journey mercies back to your various destinations. God bless you all, and I pray we all meet together next year by God's grace. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant day. Thank you. Can we stand? Can we rise for the national anthem, please? Thank you very much.
Hello, Auntie. Good afternoon, ma. Unmute yourself, ma. You are muted. Unmute yourself.